Part 41. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 404. Linda heard this guy's voice and glanced at the guy in front of her lightly. Chatting up yourself? Let yourself go there to drink? Linda's eyebrows suddenly wrinkled. She drank a glass of wine, which was already a favor to the other party, and she was allowed to go over and drink. Not interested, Linda said calmly again. However, upon hearing Linda's words, Etienne was suddenly stunned. He was rejected? This has never happened before. Beauty, come over and play. Give me some face. Etienne suddenly said to Linda again. He felt that the foreign girl in front of him must not know that he was in this bar. Otherwise, who would dare not give him face in this bar? He must let this top-notch foreign girl in front of him pass. As long as he lets her pass, he can let her drink a few more drinks. As long as she drinks more, she can do anything after she is unconscious. He has done things like this countless times, and he has basically succeeded. Even if something happens afterwards, nothing will happen. Even if something happens, his cousin Yefeng will come forward to help him solve it. Who are you? Why should I give you face? But at this moment, I heard the foreign girl in front of me speak directly again. When Etienne heard this, he was suddenly stunned. The next moment his face suddenly condensed and became a little ugly. How dare someone deny him face? No face? Beauty, do you know who I am? I am Etienne, and even this bar belongs to my cousin. This is my territory. Etienne said coldly and arrogantly again, his voice full of arrogance. Aren't you bothered? Don't interrupt my drinking. I have already called my friends to come and drink. At this time, Linda also frowned and said angrily to the guy in front of her. She was not polite at all. She just wanted to have a drink. It was really annoying to have him chirping next to him. At this moment, when Etienne heard Linda's words, his expression became even more ugly. Already called a friend? It must be an excuse, I just don't want to go there. Damn, you are so shameless. Today, you have to go if you don't want to. I just like you. Etienne said sternly again, no longer polite at this moment, and revealed his true face. Let's go, follow me. Etienne said angrily, stretched out his hand and grabbed Linda, and caught Linda's arm. Do not touch me. Linda broke away from Etienne's hand and said angrily. How dare you disobey? You have to go there today. Etienne said coldly again, but after speaking, he grabbed Linda again. I told you not to touch me. Linda said angrily again. Bang. The next moment, a clear voice suddenly sounded. In desperation, Linda directly grabbed the cup in her hand and smashed it on Etienne's head. Ah! A scream suddenly sounded from Etienne's mouth, which was so harsh even in the loud music, attracting many people who were drinking or swaying around to cast strange looks. Damn it, it hurts me to death. You dare to hit me, you're looking for death. Etienne covered his head, looking extremely painful, and yelled at Linda angrily, as if he wanted to kill someone. The other party actually dared to hit him with a cup, and he felt that his palms were red, which was obviously blood. His head was bruised and bleeding. Master Tien. How are you? Are you okay? Master Tien. Not far away, 2 or 3 more figures came to Etienne's side and spoke directly to Etienne. Are you looking for death? You dare to beat Master Tien. You are dead. Beauty, why the hell don't you come over and kneel down to apologize to Mr. Tien? Let Mr. Tien forgive you. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave this bar today. Beside Etienne, someone also said to Linda. You deserve it. Who asked her to touch her? When Linda heard what the other party said, she said coldly that in her hometown, anyone who dared to touch her like this would have been put in jail. Why are you talking so much nonsense to her? You guys hurry up and get her, I'll buy all your drinks this month. Tonight, I'm going to hum her to death. I'm going to make her moan under me. Etienne said to the people beside him again, looking at Linda with malicious eyes. Haha, that's great. Mr. Tien is so generous. Thank you, Mr. Tien. These doglegs immediately said to Etienne again. The next moment, several people looked at Linda again and said cruelly. Beauty, if you know how to behave, kneel down and apologize to Master Tien, and spend one more night with him tonight. Zhen, you look so exciting. Master Tien, after you feel good, let us buddies feel good too. Several people looked at Linda with evil intentions again, their eyes scanning Linda's body unabashedly, and an evil fire arose in their hearts. No problem. Etienne said proudly. The next moment, several people headed towards Linda again. Those people nearby, seeing this scene, involuntarily gave way to the venue. It's actually Etienne. This foreign girl actually dares to hit Etienne, I'm afraid she'll be in trouble now. Don't she know that Etienne's cousin is the owner of this bar? Voices could not help but come out from the mouths of those around, but those people looked at the scene in front of them, but none of them tried to stop it. What are you going to do? Seeing this scene, Linda's pretty face changed slightly, and she said in a cold voice. What? Of course I'm going to do you. Haha. Suddenly, one of them said proudly. Soon, several people came to Linda. Linda wanted to walk away from the side, but was blocked by another person, and several people surrounded Linda directly. Zzz, it's so humming big. I can't stand it. At this time, one of them said, with a lecherous look, looking at Linda's proud chest. Isn't it? Next to him, another person echoed. The next moment, several people stretched out their hands and grabbed Linda. When Linda saw this scene, a look of horror suddenly appeared on her face. However, at this moment, bang, bang, bang. It was as if a gust of wind blew from one side inexplicably, and several dull sounds suddenly rang out. Ah! 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 Instantly, screams resounded throughout the bar. Everyone was shocked to see that the guys who attacked the foreign girl were inexplicably thrown backwards at this moment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 405. At this moment, the guys who were trying to catch Linda flew backwards as if they had been hit hard. Bang 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 bang. The dull sound suddenly sounded again, and those people hit the ground directly, and some even hit other people. Ah! Screams continued, and the scene was in chaos. At this moment, except for the music that was still playing, everyone was stunned and looked forward again. A figure, at some point, appeared in front of the foreign girl. It was a young man wearing casual clothes. He still looked very handsome under the light. Linda looked at the figure that suddenly appeared in front of her. It was so majestic, as if it was standing tall against the sky. At this critical moment, a ray of sunshine appeared in her gloomy sky. Boss. Even though Linda looked at the back, she recognized the person in front of her, and her voice was full of excitement as she shouted. The figure in front of her is her boss Li Hao. Are you okay? Li Hao then turned his head, looked at Linda, and said with a smile. It's okay. Boss, you came in time. Hee, there will be a reward later. When Linda saw Li Hao, the fear in her heart immediately dissipated, and she happily said to Li Hao. As long as Li Hao is around, Linda feels extremely at ease. Huh? Reward? Li Hao's eyes suddenly lit up when he heard Linda's words. We'll talk about it later. Boss, you'd better solve the matter in front of you first. I'm optimistic about you. Linda's face was red and she was slightly drunk. She thought of something and said something. When Li Hao heard Linda's words, he was speechless. Holy shit, who are you? How dare you hurt my brothers? Don't you want to live anymore? At this time, Ye Tian looked at Li Hao angrily and shouted at Li Hao. Someone is coming. Someone is coming quickly. Someone is making trouble. At this time, Ye Tian shouted loudly again, and his voice even drowned out the music. As Ye Tian's shouts came out, some figures suddenly came from all directions in the bar, some wearing the bar's security uniforms, and some wearing black vests. In just a moment, about 20 figures came to Ye Tian's side. Master Tian. Who is making trouble? Don't you want to live anymore? Master Tian, are you okay? How dare you cause trouble in our dynasty bar? You are seeking death. It's this guy, isn't it? Look at me destroying him. Voices came from these people's mouths again, and some even looked directly at Li Hao. At this moment, the people around who were drinking and dancing had moved far away to avoid accidental injury. It's this guy. He actually dared to hit my brother. And this woman hit me with a wine glass and it made me bleed. At this time, Ye Tian pointed at Li Hao and Linda and said sharply. At the same time, the people next to Ye Tian had surrounded Li Hao and Linda one by one, with fierce looks on their faces. You dare to cause trouble in our bar and even injure Mr. Tian. How unreasonable. Didn't you know that this bar is owned by Tian Xiao's cousin? Who in the whole of Jiangbei dares to cause trouble here? Let's destroy this guy together. One voice after another said arrogantly. These people looked at Li Hao coldly, as if they were about to take action. Etc. But at this moment, Ye Tian shouted again. Suddenly, everyone's eyes fell on Ye Tian in surprise. I saw Ye Tian slowly taking a few steps forward and arriving in front of everyone. Li Hao and Linda were not far in front of them. How's it going? Are you scared? Ye Tian looked at Li Hao coldly again, his eyes filled with coldness, and he said extremely arrogantly. As long as you kneel down and admit your mistake, call me grandpa twice more, and let your girlfriend have fun with me tonight, how about I spare your life? I'll just break your hands. Ye Tian said coldly to Li Hao again, actually asking Li Hao to kneel down and admit his mistake and call him grandpa. His tone was not ordinary crazy. That's right, kneel down and call young Master Tian, and I will spare your life and only break your hands. Haha, hurry up and kneel down and call me grandpa. Breaking your hands is already a very kind thing. Let your girl have fun with Tian Xiao tonight. At this time, the people next to him looked at Li Hao teasingly and echoed, their voices full of ridicule. In their opinion, how could this guy in front of them, alone, be the opponent of so many of them? They would probably be scared to death. Hee. But at this moment, these people suddenly saw the guy in front of them laughing inexplicably. Huh? Why are you laughing? When Ye Tian saw this scene, he frowned and said sharply again. Linda, is this guy mentally retarded? Li Hao ignored this guy, turned his head and said in a deep voice to Linda beside him, with a serious look on his face. Linda was stunned when she heard Li Hao's words, but then she nodded obediently. On the opposite side, when Ye Tian heard the conversation between the two, he became furious again. Damn it! Looking for death. Kill this guy for me. Ye Tian pointed at Li Hao and said angrily. Go, kill this guy. You dare to call Tian Xiao a retard, you are looking for death. For a moment, one figure after another rushed towards Li Hao, aggressively. When Li Hao saw this scene, his eyes were sharp. The next moment, Li Hao's figure also moved, but he walked slowly forward, and only a layer of light energy appeared on his body. Bang 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 bang. Then, another dull sound suddenly sounded, and the figures rushing towards Li Hao were blown away at this moment. Ah! Ah, my tricks! Ah! My bones are broken. Ah, it hurts me to death. Dot. Screams came out from these people again, and every time Li Hao took a step forward, someone was blown away. In just a few moments, more than a dozen figures were blown away and lay on the ground, groaning in pain, while the people around them didn't even know what happened, and didn't see the guy's movements at all. This scene was extremely shocking. My God! What's going on? This guy didn't do anything, how come they flew away? Dot. There were horrified voices from the people around them, staring at the scene blankly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 406. Li Hao walked forward slowly, with a hint of coldness in his eyes, looking at the guy named Ye Tian in front of him, and a hint of disdain appeared on his face. In Li Hao's eyes, these people in front of him were really like ants. Ants shaking elephants. Isn't that overestimating one's own ability? Every time Li Hao took a step forward, another person was blown away directly. More than 20 people, more than half of them were lying down in a moment. Huh. Ye Tian, who was opposite, was shocked to the extreme when he saw this scene. Damn, a warrior. This guy is a warrior. Catch that woman first. Ye Tian's heart suddenly jumped, and he said directly, and then pointed at Linda and said, his reaction was not slow. In his opinion, the guy in front of him could knock down so many people in an instant, and he didn't even see how he did it. This is not just ordinary strong, he must be a warrior. Only warriors can easily crush. So, at this moment, Ye Tian made a quick decision and immediately set his sights on Linda, thinking that as long as he caught this woman, he could use this woman to threaten this guy to surrender. The remaining few people, after hearing Ye Tian's words, immediately changed their direction and rushed directly towards Linda. At this moment, Li Hao's eyes suddenly revealed a sharpness. Looking for death. Li Hao shouted coldly, and there was also a hint of anger in his voice. Li Hao was really a little angry. The dragon has a reverse scale, and it will die if it is touched. To hurt Linda in front of Li Hao is tantamount to touching Li Hao's reverse scale. I saw that Li Hao's figure moved again, and the whole person appeared in front of Linda like a ghost. Get out. Li Hao did not make a move, but shouted angrily. As the word get out came out, the whole bar seemed to be thunderous. The figures rushing towards Linda were hit hard again, spurting blood from their mouths, and were thrown forward again. Then several people fainted, not knowing whether they were dead or alive. You can't hurt her at all. Li Hao swept his eyes and stood in front of Linda, saying coldly again, but his voice was full of unquestionable. You can't hurt her at all. How domineering. And how arrogant. This sentence, falling into the ears of those around, made them tremble in their hearts. And this sentence, falling into Linda's ears, made Linda a little crazy. This sentence was like a deep confession, deeply touching her heartstrings. At this moment, Linda was infatuated. This sentence inadvertently made Linda's heart move. Linda looked at Li Hao, and felt that Li Hao was so handsome, so domineering, and so fascinating at this moment. Isn't this the prince in her mind? The ideal and perfect man. Li Hao's figure seemed to be infinitely magnified in Linda's heart at this moment. Linda stared at Li Hao blankly, as if he was the only one left in the world. But Li Hao didn't think so much, he just couldn't help but say that sentence just now. Li Hao didn't know that his words actually touched Linda's heartstrings, and even had the idea of rolling with him. If Li Hao knew, he would have taken Linda to the hotel directly now. At this moment, all the more than 20 people lay on the ground, groaning in pain. The next moment, Li Hao looked at Ye Tian in front of him again. Then, Li Hao slowly walked towards Ye Tian again. Ah! What are you going to do? At this moment, Ye Tian no longer had the arrogance just now. He looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Seeing Li Hao walking towards him, he was even more terrified and said in horror. What? Haha, what do you think? When Li Hao heard Ye Tian's words, he sneered again. As Li Hao's voice fell, Ye Tian felt horrified, as if a huge invisible force had fallen directly on him. He instinctively wanted to escape but couldn't move at all. Just like that. Li Hao came directly in front of Ye Tian, and then in Ye Tian's horrified eyes, he stretched out his hand and pinched Ye Tian's neck. You! Ye Tian's eyes widened, his neck was pinched directly, and he couldn't speak. A feeling of suffocation filled his body. The next moment, Ye Tian's body was directly lifted up, like being lifted up by a chicken, and he might die at any time. Oh my God! Young Master Tian has met a tough guy this time. This is too fierce. One person has knocked down so many people. Who is this guy? Does he really dare to kill young Master Tian? Young Master Tian's cousin is young Master Feng. Even if he is a warrior, I'm afraid he can't afford to offend him. When the customers in the bar around saw this scene, they were shocked to the extreme, making a series of surprised sounds, and even a series of sounds of sucking in cold air. You want me to kneel down and call you grandpa? You also want to cripple me? Li Hao looked coldly at the guy in his hand who was held by him like a chicken, and said sarcastically. Bang! Ah! As Li Hao's words fell, everyone was shocked to see that the young man smashed Ye Tian in his hand directly towards a table next to him. Suddenly, Ye Tian's head was on top of that. There was an intimate contact with the marble tabletop, accompanied by Ye Tian's scream. Everyone saw that Ye Tian's head was smashed open, and blood dripped all over Ye Tian's face in an instant. Ah! I'm going to kill you. My cousin will never spare you. Ye Tian screamed again and said bitterly to Li Hao. Everyone looked at the scene and felt a huge shock in their hearts. This guy actually dares to hit Mr. Tian hard. Aren't you afraid of Tian Xiao's cousin Feng Xiao? Haha! Kill me? Believe it or not, I will kill you now. When Li Hao heard Ye Tian's words, he sneered and said, You are on the verge of death, yet you dare to speak like this to yourself. Bang! As Li Hao finished speaking, Ye Tian's body was hit hard again, not his head, but there was a sound of broken bones. Ah! I'm going to kneel down. Brother! I was wrong, please spare me. Ye Tian instinctively wanted to shout viciously again, but he changed his words in an instant. He was really frightened by the guy in front of him, and his inner fear reached the extreme. If this continued, his life would really be at risk. But at this time, Li Hao said calmly to Ye Tian again. Wasn't it awesome just now? Come on. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 407. Ye Tian was really scared and begged Li Hao for mercy. His head was smashed out, and he was bleeding. His clothes were dyed red. He was really scared. He is also afraid of death. But the guy in front of him really hit hard, showed no mercy at all, and looked like he was going to kill him. Brother, I was wrong, please let me go. Ye Tian begged Li Hao for mercy again. Go away, don't disturb my mood. Li Hao immediately let go of his hand, and immediately, Ye Tian fell directly to the ground. Li Hao said to Ye Tian calmly. Immediately, Li Hao no longer cared about Ye Tian on the ground, then turned to look at Linda behind him, and came straight to Linda's side, with a faint smile on his face. Drink wine. Li Hao smiled and said to Linda again. A smile also appeared on Linda's face. She picked up the bottle of wine very well and poured a glass of wine directly for Li Hao and handed it over. Li Hao picked up the wine glass, then clinked it with the wine glass in Linda's hand, and poured it towards his mouth. Walk. And Etienne got up from the ground, raised his head, and shouted to the people beside him. Then Etienne and the others left in despair. When leaving, Etienne looked at Li Hao, who was drinking with Linda, his eyes full of resentment. Master Tian, is that all? Etienne led these people out of the dynasty bar, and immediately someone spoke to Etienne again. How is that possible? I want to kill him. Etienne said fiercely, his eyes filled with extreme malice. Ever since he was a child, he had always been the one to beat others, and he had never been beaten so hard by others. The next moment, Etienne took out his cell phone, found his cousin's phone number and dialed it. On weekdays, his cousin is not in this bar, she is basically here to watch, and his cousin is playing with the young masters of the big group companies in Jiangbei. At this time, at a rooftop revolving Starry Sky restaurant a few kilometers away from here, several men and women were eating and drinking. Those who could come to this revolving Starry Sky restaurant to eat were either rich or noble. At this moment, a jade-faced young man was wearing a brand-name suit, all clothes and pants from Anima, and he was wearing a Rolex watch worth hundreds of thousands. In front of this jade-faced young man, there is also a young man wearing a famous watch, with a young man's temperament, and sitting next to him are two girls who look good in figure and have delicate faces. They are not very old and look pretty. He looks like he's in his 20s. There were 3 men, but there were 5 or 6 women. As for the other young man, he was young but had a fat head and big ears, especially his belly that looked like it was several months old. His hands kept touching the girl next to him. Several people were drinking, talking, and laughing, and even the manager of the restaurant came to toast a few glasses of wine. But at this moment, ding 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 ding. The cell phone that the jade-faced young man placed on the table rang at this moment, and the young man's brows suddenly frowned. It was his cousin who called him. That guy often did bad things when he called him. Wei Xiao, let me take a call. The young man immediately said to another young man next to him, and then directly answered the phone. Hey. Xiao Tian, what's going on? Tell me. Brother Feng. I was beaten. My head is blown. Someone is making trouble in the bar. Brother Feng, you must help me take revenge. At this time, Etienne's voice suddenly came from the phone. Hearing Etienne's words, Yefeng's expression darkened again, and he was Etienne's cousin, his name was Yefeng, and he was also the owner of the Dynasty Bar. He was not very young, but he was very popular in Jiangbei. What? Someone actually dares to cause trouble in my Dynasty Bar? Don't you want to live anymore? Yefeng said coldly again, with a glint in his eyes. Isn't that right? Brother Feng. That guy not only injured me, but also injured many brothers in the bar. He should be a warrior. I only heard Etienne say angrily on the phone again, looking very angry. Damn it, I'm looking for death. At this moment, Yefeng also had a look of anger on his face, and he stood up directly. Feng, what's wrong? At this time, several people nearby also looked at Yefeng in confusion, and another young man asked Yefeng again. Yeah, Brother Feng, what's wrong? The fat young man also asked in surprise. Wei Xiao, someone is making trouble in my bar. My cousin was injured. At this time, Yefeng immediately said directly that the identity of the young man in front of him, whom he called Wei Xiao, was extraordinary. He was the son of the Chen family, the largest force in Jiangbei. His name was Chen Wei, and his father was Chen Henan, the contemporary head of the Chen family. A being that no one dares to mess with in the entire Jiangbei. Chen Wei's expression froze when he heard Etienne's words, and he said in a deep voice. How unreasonable, how dare you make trouble in your bar? Isn't this not giving me face? Don't you know that I am responsible for the Dynasty Bar? Isn't it? Aren't you looking for death? You dare to cause trouble in Brother Feng's bar. I will kill him directly. The other fat young man next to him also said angrily, looking like he was avenging the injustice, and this guy's name is Zhu Xiao. He is the son of a large company in Jiangbei, and he is very rich. My cousin said that guy seems to be a warrior. Brother Feng, I have to go and have a look. I'm sorry I can't drink with you. I'll leave first. Ye Feng immediately said to Chen Wei again, preparing to go back to the bar to have a look. Even when he was about to leave, if a warrior made trouble, this was not a trivial matter. He had to tell his father to borrow his bodyguard. But at this moment, Chen Wei also stood up. It's not just drinking somewhere. Let's go, I'll go with you to see which blind guy dares to cause trouble in the dynasty bar. I'll deal with it for you directly. Chen Wei said calmly again, as if in his eyes, the matter in front of him was nothing at all. Ah! Young Master Wei, are you going too? That's great. But that guy is a warrior. Hearing Chen Wei's words, Ye Tian became a little excited and said immediately. What is a warrior? I am also a warrior. And I am an innate warrior. Chen Wei said directly again, his voice filled with incomparable pride. Yes, he is also a warrior, an innate warrior. His father is the head of the Chen family and a genuine foundation-building monk. Although he has not become a monk, he will become a monk sooner or later. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 408. Young Master Wei, you are also a warrior. That's great. I don't have to call anyone. Hearing Chen Wei's words, Ye Tian said with great joy that with this Chen Wei coming forward, no matter who was making the trouble, they would no longer be able to stand around and live happily. No, you still have to shout when you call someone. You still need to have basic formations. But at this moment, Chen Wei said lightly again, with a smile on his face. But you don't have to call, I'll call a few people. Ever since, Chen Wei also took out a mobile phone and made a call. Uncle Tian, if something happens, please help me call some people, not too many, just 20 or 30 people. Are they all innate? No, just a few will be fine. Dynasty Bar. After hanging up the phone, Chen Wei looked at the wide-eyed Ye Feng and Zhu Xiao next to him, and a bright smile appeared on Chen Wei's face. Oh my God, Master Wei, you called out 20 or 30 warriors. Are there just a few of them? Damn it, you are so awesome. Awesome class. Ye Feng and Zhu Xiao said to Chen Wei in shock. They heard Chen Wei's call just now clearly. The other party just called a few people, turned around and called 30 warriors on the phone, and there were also how many innate ones? This is so humming awesome. It's just 30 warriors, it's a small matter. Chen Wei waved his hand again, looking indifferent, but he felt very happy in his heart. He liked to show off in front of the two of them. This was in line with his status as the son of the head of the Chen family. Although he was not the only son, and two brothers. Let's go. Chen Wei said to Ye Tian again. As a result, the three of them drove directly to the dynasty bar without taking any of the girls with them. According to Ye Feng, there are no shortage of girls in his bar, and there are many top-notch student girls. After dealing with the troublemaker, Ye Feng will take the two of them to have a good time. The dynasty bar was not far away, and after only 10 minutes, the three of them arrived at the entrance of the dynasty bar. When they saw Ye Feng and the others appeared, Ye Tian and others rushed forward, holding their chests, looking very painful, and said angrily. Cousin, you are finally here. We were beaten badly. My head was broken and my ribs were broken. Ye Tian's head has been simply bandaged. Their bar has a part-time doctor who lives in the bar, just to prevent anyone from having drinking problems or getting injured in conflicts or fights when drunk. When Ye Feng saw Ye Tian's appearance, his expression couldn't help but condense, and his eyes glanced at the people next to him. These people were also injured. Damn it, you dare to cause trouble in my bar. You are really looking for death. Xiao Tian, don't worry, that guy is dead. Ye Feng said in a deep voice again, very sure. At this time, Ye Feng said to the people in front of him again. Let me introduce to you, this is young master Chen Weiwei. The young master of the Chen family in Jiangbei. Whenever you come to our bar from now on, please serve me well. Ye Tian and others were shocked when they heard Ye Feng's words. The son of the Chen family in Jiangbei? What an awesome identity. I didn't expect Brother Feng to be with the young master of the Chen family. It's really awesome. Wei Xiao. Hello, Mr. Wei. Young Master Wei. Suddenly, Ye Tian and others shouted to Chen Wei one after another, their expressions full of respect. This is Mr. Zhu Xiao from Tianshui Company. Ye Feng introduced to everyone again. Master Zhu. Hello, Master Zhu. Master Zhu. Suddenly, Ye Tian and others shouted to Zhu Xiao again, although Tianshui Company is not as awesome as the Chen family, he is also very famous in Jiangbei. Where is that guy? Is he alone? At this time, Ye Feng asked Ye Tian in a deep voice. There is also a woman with that guy. She is a foreign girl. She is very beautiful and has a good figure. She is really a top model. She is inside. Cousin, that guy is a warrior, very powerful. It's not easy to deal with. Ye Tian suddenly said again, the image of that foreign girl appeared in his mind again, and his heart was burning. Haha. Warrior. What the hell? It doesn't matter, young Master Wei is here, and young Master Wei is also a warrior. After hearing Ye Tian's words, Ye Feng smiled faintly again and said proudly. Besides, young Master Wei also shouted at a lot of people. But at this moment, as Ye Feng finished speaking, several black autos appeared not far ahead, attracting everyone's attention. A total of 6 autos, all of which looked brand new, drove straight over and stopped in front of everyone. The next moment, men in black uniforms came down from these autos. They were all very tall and strong, with a fierce aura on their bodies. This scene shocked everyone, but then, Ye Tian and others saw these figures in black uniforms coming directly to Chen Wei and standing in 3 neat rows. Then these people all bent down to Chen Wei and shouted in unison. Master Chen! Master Chen! Master Chen! The sound was loud and resounded throughout the night sky, attracting the attention of countless people. Damn, what a huge battle! Is this the person Mr. Chen called? Shocking sounds suddenly resounded again, and the scene in front of them was quite a battle. Is this the person Mr. Chen called? They all look so powerful. Compared with the people in the bar next to Ye Tian, these people in front of them are really outclassed by countless streets. They are all warriors. And there are some innate warriors among them. This is the energy of the Jiangbei Chen family. Let's go. Go in. The next moment, Chen Wei said proudly again, and then walked directly towards the dynasty bar. Immediately, the Chen family warriors called by Chen Wei also followed, and Ye Feng, Ye Tian, and others also hurriedly followed. As soon as these warriors started to do something, some opened the way, others controlled the scene, and a group of people entered the bar in a mighty manner. Li Hao was drinking with Linda, and they were enjoying themselves. It must be said that Linda talked more after drinking, and her pretty face with a drunken blush looked very charming under the light. Boss! Do it! Linda raised her wine glass and spoke directly to Li Hao. Li Hao was also very cheerful. He picked up the wine glass and poured it into his mouth. As a monk, drinking is not a problem at all. You can get drunk if you want to, and you can get drunk if you don't want to. By the way, Linda, you just said you wanted to thank me properly. How are you going to thank me? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 409. Boss, how do you want me to thank you? There is a saying in your country of China that a young man has nothing to repay for his kindness, so he can only pledge himself to you. Hearing Li Hao's words, a touching smile appeared on Linda's face again and she said to Li Hao, "Promise yourself?" When Li Hao heard Linda's words, a faint smile appeared on his face. This girl was a little drunk and said everything. "Ha ha. Drink," Li Hao said with a smile again. But before Li Hao could pick up the wine glass in his hand, Li Hao's brows wrinkled slightly again. It's true that those who don't know are fearless. Li Hao couldn't help but shook his head again and said lightly, "Huh? Boss, what did you say?" Linda next to her heard Li Hao's words and asked in surprise. "Someone is here asking for death," Li Hao said calmly again. Naturally, everything outside this bar cannot escape Li Hao's perception, but these people are really like ants in Li Hao's heart. They can't make any waves, but they are still a bit annoying. They simply disturb himself and Linda while they drink. Interest. Therefore, Li Hao also felt some anger in his heart. Ah! Linda made another surprised sound. The next moment, Li Hao looked towards the door of the bar, and immediately saw a group of people dressed in black walking directly in. They were menacing, mighty, and malicious. Everyone's eyes were directed towards the people who walked in, and a look of shock suddenly appeared on their faces. "Oh my God, there are so many people. It's Master Feng. Master Ye Feng Feng. He is the owner of this bar. I didn't expect him to show up. It seems it's because of what happened just now. These people look very powerful. I'm afraid they are not ordinary people. What a huge battle. I'm afraid that guy is going to be miserable." Suddenly, a series of shocking voices came from the people around. Some people directly recognized this Ye Feng and knew that this Ye Feng was the owner of this bar. He was not a good person. He was probably here because of what happened here before. The fight incident. Some people even cast their eyes on Li Hao, their expressions full of strange color. In their opinion, the young man in front of them was probably going to be miserable. They had beaten Ye Feng's cousin Ye Tian and the others here before. He actually dared to drink here, he must be doomed now. The next moment, Ye Tian pointed at Li Hao and said directly beside Ye Feng, Chen Wei and others, "Cousin, Wei Xiao was this guy just now? He was the one who caused trouble in our bar. He also injured so many of us." When Ye Feng, Chen Wei and others heard what Ye Tian said, they immediately looked in the direction of Li Hao and saw a guy who was even more handsome than them, drinking with a foreign girl. Suddenly, the eyes of Ye Feng, Chen Wei and others also suddenly lit up. Damn, what a beauty. Still a foreign girl. This foreign girl is so awesome. Both the figure and the face are top-notch. Wei Xiao, wait a minute, this woman will be yours. Even though Ye Feng couldn't help but be tempted, he still said directly that with Chen Wei here, it wasn't his turn yet, so he simply gave up generously, and he could still gain Chen Wei's favor, and thus climb into the Chen family. A big tree, embarking on the road to prosperity. Ha ha. Then I will be disrespectful. Let's deal with this guy first. Hearing Ye Feng's words, Chen Wei did not refuse, and immediately said with a smile, as if in his eyes, Linda had been predestined by him, and he did not take Li Hao next to him into consideration. "Ah! Boss, there are so many people here. They seem to want to cause trouble for us." At this time, Linda was shocked when she saw so many people, and couldn't help but ask Li Hao, "Boss, can you do it?" Although Linda knew that her boss was very powerful, She felt a little unsure when looking at so many people. How can a man say no? It must be possible. It must be done. When Li Hao heard Linda's words, he immediately said calmly. Li Hao didn't even turn his head, but he said proudly. It's just not overestimating your own abilities. Immediately, Li Hao said to Linda again, with a wicked smile on his face. Come on, let's continue drinking. Didn't you say you wanted to commit yourself to me later? Hee. Boss, you are so bad. Linda immediately stared at Li Hao and said, but she still picked up the wine glass and clinked the glasses with Li Hao again. Ye Feng and others looked at the two of them chatting, laughing, and flirting, but there was a hint of coldness in their eyes. Sorry to disturb everyone's interest. I am Ye Feng, the owner of the Dynasty Bar. I believe many people have heard of my name. And the person next to me is Mr. Chen from the Chen family in Jiangbei. In just over 10 minutes someone caused trouble in our bar and injured my brother. I believe many people have seen it, so I'd like to take some of your time. 30% off all drinks today. At this time, the loud music in the bar also stopped, and the beauties in short skirts on the stage even stopped dancing. Ye Feng stood up and said to everyone. I know, of course I know. Everyone knows the name of Master Feng. 30% off all drinks? Wow, this is the first time in the history of Dynasty Bar that such a discount is available. Young Master Chen from the Chen family in Jiangbei. Damn it, it's young Master Chen from the Chen family in Jiangbei. When those people around heard Ye Feng's words, they immediately made shocking sounds. Especially when Ye Feng said that the young man next to him was actually young Master Chen of the Chen family, everyone's eyes were filled with light. Unexpectedly, the young man in front of me turned out to be the son of the Chen family. The Chen family was the largest family in Jiangbei, especially the head of the Chen family, who was the strongest person in Jiangbei. Of course, these ordinary people don't know that the number one person in Jiangbei has actually changed a long time ago, Chen Henan, the head of the Chen family. The next moment, the people around them suddenly gave way to the field again, and there was no one else in the 10-meter range centered on Li Hao and Linda. Some warriors from the Chen family have already surrounded the area to control the situation. At this time, Ye Feng, Chen Wei, and others came directly in front of Li Hao and Linda. Boy, are they the ones you injured? Ye Feng said directly to Li Hao sternly, pointing at Ye Tian and the others. Li Hao still looked calm, as if he didn't hear anything, and said to Linda calmly. Linda, it seems like a dog somewhere is barking. Did you hear it? Dog. Linda was stunned for a moment, but she quickly came to her senses. Haha, isn't it? Where's the dog barking? Linda immediately smiled again and said. Next to him, Ye Feng heard the conversation between the two, his face suddenly became a little ugly, and he said sharply again. I'm asking you a question. Are you looking for death? Ye Feng was immediately angry. Looking for death? Haha, you are the ones looking for death. Yes, they were injured by me, so what? If you don't want to die, get out of here. Li Hao glanced at the guy in front of him indifferently, and said coldly, with a touch of pride in his voice. You're so crazy. You actually told Mr. Feng and the others to get out? Where does this guy get the courage? It's so crazy. When those people around saw the scene and heard Li Hao's words, they all made an uproar. Very good. Really good. When Ye Feng heard Li Hao's words, a fierce look suddenly appeared in his eyes, and the anger in his heart rose uncontrollably. You succeeded in irritating me. I'm afraid you don't know my name, Ye Feng. Today, you must not stand up and leave me, the boss of Dynasty Bar. Ye Feng suddenly said sharply to Li Hao again, looking extremely fierce. But the words are not finished yet. Pa! A clear voice suddenly resounded from his face. Ah! A scream suddenly came from Yefeng's mouth. Before Yefeng could react, a heavy slap fell on him, knocking him to the ground and even knocking out the teeth in his mouth. Several. Noisy. Li Hao glanced at Yefeng on the ground indifferently and said coldly, but his expression did not change much, as if slapping Yefeng was a trivial matter. Damn it, you don't have any martial ethics. How dare you hit me? I'm going to kill you. Yefeng's head was buzzing from the beating, he roared in pain, and shouted at Li Hao with great hatred. Pain. It hurt so much. Yefeng's face immediately swelled up, blood flowed from his mouth, and he looked very embarrassed. This guy actually dared to attack him. He didn't even say a word. He didn't even react. He was slapped before he could finish his words. This was so ungrateful. This sudden scene caught the eyes of those around them and made them obviously stunned. This guy actually took action directly? When they heard Yefeng's painful roar on the ground, they reacted again, but they were half a beat too slow. Master Feng. Is Mr. Feng okay? He actually dares to attack Mr. Feng. Come on, everyone. Kill this guy. Suddenly, one after another figures came directly to Yefeng's side, and some people shouted angrily at Li Hao, and the next moment they rushed towards Li Hao, with a strong aura erupting from their bodies. Don't talk about martial ethics? Haha. Do you need to talk about martial ethics to deal with you little guys? Li Hao said calmly, without taking the people in front of him seriously. Looking at the figures rushing towards him, Li Hao shouted angrily. Roll. Boom. When Li Hao said the word go, another thunder sounded in the whole space. Bang 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 bang. The next moment, another dull sound suddenly resounded in the space, and the figures rushing towards Li Hao flew backwards. Follow your words. As Li Hao's words fell, several warriors lay directly on the ground, moaning in extreme pain. Large mouthfuls of blood continued to flow from their mouths, and they were seriously injured. This was still the result of not wanting to kill people. As long as Li Hao didn't even use the power of cultivation, but there was a thunderous meaning in the shout, he directly severely injured some people. At this moment, the expressions of Chen Wei and others suddenly changed and became a little ugly. Chen Wei was also an innate warrior, but he still didn't see clearly how the other party made the move. It seemed that there was no move at all, just a sound. How is this possible? Could it be that I am dazzled? Chen Wei was shocked. Why are you still standing there? You guys come with me too. At this time, Chen Wei shouted at the remaining Chen family warriors. There were more than 10 people who had not taken action just now, and among them were innate warriors. Yes, Mr. Chen. When these people heard Chen Wei's words, they immediately responded. In fact, they were a little timid, but as warriors of the Chen family, taking the Chen family's money and eating the Chen family's food, they naturally had to do things for the Chen family, so they could not disobey Chen Wei's instructions in the slightest. Ever since, the remaining warriors of the Chen family suddenly erupted with the momentum of warriors, and rushed directly towards Li Hao with a brazen offensive. Li Hao looked at this scene, but there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. It's so reckless. Li Hao said calmly and walked directly forward again. This time, Li Hao also moved. Bang! Li Hao immediately changed his position and punched out. When another warrior from the Chen family was blasted away, you could see that warrior's chest was dented, and then directly hit the table in the distance, life or death unknown. Immediately afterwards, there was another kick, directly hitting the body of another warrior, and the sound of broken bones suddenly resounded. Li Hao seemed to have turned into an afterimage, moving extremely fast, but to the eyes of these ordinary people, Li Hao seemed to be standing on the same spot, just walking slowly forward step by step. But with every step he took, some warriors were blasted away and passed out immediately. In just a moment, none of the Chen family's warriors could stand still. Hiss! All fell down. Oh my God, is this even a human being? This is so awesome. Dot. The sound of gasping for air kept coming from the mouths of the people around them, and their hearts were greatly impacted by the scene in front of them. At this moment, Chen Wei and others' expressions had become extremely ugly. He brought so many warriors from the Chen family, but he didn't even capture such a person? And there are innate warriors among them. How is this possible? You are not a warrior? Are you a monk? Chen Wei pointed at Li Hao in shock and said, there is only one possibility. Li Hao did not speak, but looked at Chen Wei again. The next moment, Li Hao walked directly towards Chen Wei. What are you going to do? Seeing this scene, Chen Wei was immediately startled and continued. Kneel down. Li Hao said calmly. But after hearing Li Hao's words, Chen Wei's expression became extremely ugly. What? Want him to kneel down? You actually want me to kneel down? How is this possible? This is absolutely impossible. I am a member of the Chen family, and my father is Chen Henan, the head of the Chen family. Chen Wei's eyes widened, but he said proudly. Haha, your father is the head of the Chen family. But at this time, Li Hao suddenly laughed again when he heard Chen Wei's words. Even if your father comes, he still has to kneel down. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 410. Even if your father comes, he still has to kneel down. Li Hao said lightly, his voice filled with extreme pride. Crazy. It's really too crazy. Master Chen has to kneel down even when he comes. Who does he think he is? The King of Heaven. You actually don't even care about the Chen family. Dot. When those people around heard Li Hao's words, they made another uproar. At this moment, Chen Wei was also glaring at Li Hao angrily. Is this guy too crazy? Talk nonsense. This does not take his father Chen Henan into consideration at all. How could my dad kneel down for you? Haha. It's so funny. If my dad came here, you would be scared to death. When Chen Wei heard Li Hao's words, he sneered and said, naturally he didn't believe it at all. His father was the #1 person in Jiangbei. Even in the whole of Dewa, no one could make his father kneel down. Kneel down. Otherwise, I don't mind teaching you a lesson for dad. Li Hao said calmly to Chen Wei again. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. There is gold at the man's knees, how can I kneel down for you? Chen Wei said very firmly. Gold? Show me where your gold is. At this moment, Li Hao's eyes suddenly showed a sharp look, and he said coldly. As Li Hao finished speaking, Li Hao waved his hand directly. Suddenly, there was a concentration of spiritual power in the entire space, which turned into a powerful spiritual power offensive and directly hit Chen Wei's knees. Click. In an instant, a crisp sound suddenly sounded, the sound of bones breaking. Boom. In an emergency, everyone saw that Chen Wei knelt down directly in the direction of Li Hao. Ah! A painful scream suddenly came from Chen Wei's mouth. My legs. I'm going to kill you. Chen Wei looked at Li Hao with red eyes, and yelled at Li Hao with great anger. The other party actually broke his bones, and his legs fell to his knees uncontrollably. Kill me? Haha. Believe it or not, I will kill you now. When Li Hao heard Chen Wei's words, he said sternly to Chen Wei, with murderous intent in his eyes, and he looked at Chen Wei very seriously. When Chen Wei saw Li Hao's appearance, he felt an extreme coldness all over his body. He was startled. Looking at Li Hao's serious look, he suddenly felt a little frightened. You can't kill me. My dad is Chen Henan, the head of the Chen family. If you have the ability, let me call my dad. My dad will never let you go. Do you still dare to say such things then? Do you still dare to let me go? Will my dad kneel down? Although he was a little timid, in front of so many people at this moment, there was still a touch of pride on his face, and he said to Li Hao, "Oh? Then call your dad. I'll give you 10 minutes. When Li Hao heard Chen Wei's words, he said disdainfully, "Just wait for me." When Chen Wei heard Li Hao's words, he looked startled. If the other party actually asked him to call, then the other party would be dead. The next moment, Chen Wei took out his cell phone and then found his father's phone number. Soon, the other end of the phone was picked up. "Tell me, what happened again?" On the phone, a man's deep voice came. It was Chen Henan, the head of the Chen family. "Dad, I was beaten. All the warriors in our family were beaten. Dad, you have to make the decision for me. My legs were broken by him, and he asked me to kneel down for him. He also said, 'Dad, come here, you have to kneel down. Dad, come on. He still wants to kill me.'" Chen Wei's whole body suddenly became agitated, and he cried and said to Chen Henan on the phone. Chen Henan on the phone suddenly had a strange look on his face. "Who the hell did you offend again? I'm very busy with my cultivation. Don't always make trouble for me. I don't have time to care about you now. You can just die. I can just avenge you." Chen Henan immediately said to Chen Wei again, as if he didn't care. His son was a little neglectful. Every time he encountered something, he brought up his name. Not once or twice, but every time she spoke very harshly and even complained to him on the phone, but in the end it was not a big deal. Instead, this guy took the initiative to cause a lot of trouble. Chen Henan didn't believe that in this Jiangbei area, there are still people who dare to. "I can't really kill his son. Dad. What I said is true. I was really hit and my bones were broken this time." When Chen Wei heard what his father said, he became anxious. His father obviously didn't believe what he said, so Chen Wei quickly said again, "I'm not free." However, Chen Henan's impatient voice came again on the phone. "Dad." When Chen Wei heard this, he was about to cry. He was so depressed in his heart. Why didn't his father believe it? If his father didn't come, then he would be really miserable. Seeing this scene, Li Hao wanted to laugh in his heart. "Chen Henan. 10 minutes. If you don't come, I will kill your son," Li Hao said calmly. Although there was a distance, Li Hao's voice came clearly into the phone. In an instant, Chen Henan, who was practicing on the other end of the phone, suddenly changed his expression. This voice was very familiar to him. Wasn't it the voice of his young master Li Hao? Chen Henan was naturally very clear about Li Hao's voice and had a deep memory of it. "I'll be there right away," Chen Henan said in a serious voice on the phone, but his voice was filled with fear. He heard a hint of chill in Li Hao's voice, which made Chen Henan feel horrified. How could the young master be there? His son actually offended the young master? This was simply a matter of life and death. Chen Henan hung up the phone directly, immediately activated his cultivation power, and flashed out of the Chen family. He sped all the way, even riding the wind, and his speed was even faster than driving. 10 minutes, even a minute late would not do. Chen Henan knew that Li Hao would do what he said, without any doubt. On the other side, the dynasty bar. "Just wait. My dad is here. You're dead. Even though you are a cultivator, in my dad's eyes, stepping on you is as easy as stepping on an ant. Wait if you can." When Chen Wei heard that his dad had agreed again and was already rushing here, Chen Wei became tough and said to Li Hao proudly, "Ha ha. Wait over there." When Li Hao heard what the other party said, he couldn't help but laugh again and said disdainfully, "Finally." A few minutes later, a figure in a grey robe appeared at the door of the dynasty bar, full of a powerful aura. This is a middle-aged man, who looks a little thin, but has an extraordinary temperament. He stood there quietly, but instantly made everyone in the audience feel a sense of oppression. "Dad, you are finally here. It's him. It's him. He made trouble in my friend's internet cafe and wanted to kill me. He even broke my leg. Dad, you must help me get revenge." Seeing the appearance of this middle-aged man in a gray robe, Chen Wei's face suddenly lit up, and his eyes were filled with excitement. He actually climbed up from his kneeling position and crawled in front of Chen Henan. Is he the head of the Chen family, Chen Henan? What a powerful aura! He is worthy of being the #1 person in Jiangbei. Is he a real cultivator? Even the head of the Chen family is here in person. This guy is going to be miserable. When the people around saw the appearance of this gray-robed man and heard Chen Wei's voice, they immediately spoke in amazement. The head of the Chen family, Chen Henan, is a person who is hard to find. Unexpectedly, they actually saw him in person today. Chen Henan saw Chen Wei's appearance, his expression could not help but condense, but he ignored Chen Wei in front of him. The next moment, Chen Henan's sight fell on a young man in front of him, who was the young man Chen Wei pointed at. Chen Henan saw the appearance of this young man, and his heart was suddenly shocked. Then he saw the young man's smile. Chen Henan's heart couldn't help but tremble, and his whole heart fell to the bottom. At this moment, Chen Henan's heart also gave birth to a chill, which was a touch of fear. "Dad, this guy wants you to kneel down. Is he really brave? I really don't know you, Dad." At this time, Chen Wei saw that Chen Henan had not made a move yet, and immediately said again, "Pa." However, before Chen Wei finished speaking, a slap fell hard on his face again, making an extremely crisp sound. The sound resounded throughout the bar space, but it made everyone's eyes widen. They saw that the head of the Chen family actually slapped his son hard. This. Did he hit the wrong person? "Dad. Why did you hit me?" It's him, it's him." Chen Wei was stunned by the beating, covering his face and said to Chen Henan, "Damn, bastard. I hit you, the bastard." Just at this time, the head of the Chen family, Chen Henan, became furious, shouted loudly, raised his hand, and slapped Chen Wei again. "Pa!" The crisp sound resounded again, and everyone saw that the other side of Chen Wei's face was swollen to a visible degree. "Ah! Dad, why did you hit me? Dad!" Chen Wei was beaten and screamed in pain, shouting out, "Bastard! I'm going to hit you. You bastard, you only know how to get into trouble all day long. You even messed with the young master. I'll beat you to death. I'll beat you to death." Chen Henan said angrily again, and while he was speaking, the slap in his hand did not stop at all, and he slapped Chen Wei's head fiercely. "Pa pa pa!" Even though Chen Wei covered his head, he was still beaten into a pig's head in a moment, and his face was even bleeding. The whole person was in a mess, and he was beaten so hard. This scene fell into the eyes of those around, but they couldn't help but wonder. Why? Why is this? Why did the head of the Chen family come and hit his son directly? That's enough. If you keep hitting him, he will really be beaten to death. But at this time, Li Hao's voice came out again faintly. "Damn it! How dare you mess with the young master? You deserve to be beaten to death." Chen Henan stopped his movements immediately after hearing what Li Hao said, but he was still muttering to himself. The next moment, Chen Henan came to Li Hao in front of everyone and said respectfully to him, "Young master, why are you here?" Chen Henan's expression was full of respect and flattery. When his words reached the ears of those around him, everyone's heart was suddenly shocked. "Young master?" Chen Henan, the head of the Chen family, the first person in Jiangbei, actually called that guy the young master? This scene shocked everyone's heart. How is this possible? Young master? How is this possible? Even on the ground, Chen Wei, who had been beaten into a pig's head, heard his father's words and suddenly felt extremely shocked. His father actually called this guy the young master? How is this possible? His father is the first person in Jiangbei. Who is qualified to be called the young master by him? Chen Wei couldn't figure it out no matter what, but he knew that he seemed to have hit a wall. However, the next moment, he saw the young man again, and heard the young man say again, "I was drinking with friends here. But your son came. If it weren't for you, he would have died." Li Hao seemed to be stating a simple fact. The next moment, Li Hao changed his tone and looked at Chen Henan coldly. As the saying goes, if you don't teach your child, it's the fault of the father. Your son made a mistake, you, as a father, kneel down too. As Li Hao's voice fell, Chen Henan's face suddenly changed again, and an invisible sense of oppression instantly descended on him, as if he had seen the god of death and felt that death was approaching. It was a terrifying feeling, and he had no power to resist, even though he was a strong man in the Jindan realm. Bang! A dull sound suddenly rang out again, and everyone was shocked to see that Chen Henan also knelt down directly. Oh my god, the head of the Chen family actually knelt down. How is this possible? Who on earth is this guy? He actually made the head of the Chen family kneel down. Hiss. This is too scary, right? Am I dazzled? Everyone was shocked. Looking at this scene, they even gasped. This scene made them feel a huge shock. Chen Henan, the number one person in Jiangbei, actually knelt down in front of a young man. This was simply a fairy tale, but it really happened in front of them. For a moment, everyone looked at Li Hao with a different look. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 411. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them in shock, and their hearts were greatly shocked. The number one person in Jiangbei, Chen Henan, the head of the Chen family, actually knelt down in front of that young man. Who is he? Even the head of the Chen family knelt down. While everyone was shocked, they also became curious about the identity of the young man in front of them. How is this possible? This is impossible. Dad. What are you doing? Not far away, when Chen Wei saw this scene, he opened his eyes wide and said in disbelief. His heart was shocked to the extreme. He thought of what the other party said before. Even if your father comes, he has to kneel down. It turns out that what the other party said was true. His dad actually knelt down. At this moment, Chen Wei knew that he had kicked the iron plate and offended someone he shouldn't have offended, and a fear spread in his heart involuntarily. Shut up. Before Chen Wei's surprised voice could finish, a cold voice came from Chen Henan's mouth again. Chen Henan stared at Chen Wei with eyes that were murderous. If his son hadn't offended the young master, how could he kneel here in front of everyone? At this moment, Chen Henan really had the idea of beating his son to death. Chen Wei immediately closed his mouth and did not dare to speak anymore. At this time, Li Hao glanced at Chen Wei indifferently, his eyes full of ridicule. Immediately, Li Hao said to Chen Henan again in a deep voice. Take good care of your son. For your sake, I won't kill him this time. Next time, kill him. Li Hao's voice was full of undoubt, and when it fell into Chen Henan's ears, he was overjoyed. Since Li Hao said this, it means that Li Hao let his son go and doesn't care about it. Yes, yes. Young master. I won't let him go next time. Chen Henan responded repeatedly. Did you hear that? Come quickly and kowtow to the young master. Thank you for not killing me. Chen Henan shouted sharply at Chen Wei again. Hearing Chen Henan's words, Chen Wei was startled again. Although he had a lot of reluctances in his heart, he did not dare to disobey. He crawled to Li Hao and knelt down to Li Hao. Thank you, young master, for not killing me, Chen Wei said directly to Li Hao. Li Hao didn't even look at this guy again, but looked at Linda next to him. At this moment, Linda's eyes were filled with light, and her face was even more brilliant. This is her boss, so domineering. For a time, Linda's heart was moved, and she was deeply infatuated with Li Hao in front of her, and she couldn't extricate herself. You're done drinking, right? How about changing to another place? Li Hao looked at Linda calmly again and said with a smile. Okay. Go wherever you say, boss. I'll listen to you. When Linda heard Li Hao's words, another bright smile appeared on her face, and she even gave Li Hao another wink. Ha ha. Li Hao suddenly laughed again. The two of them immediately walked directly outside the bar. Oh, boss, I'm a little dizzy. Before taking 2 steps, Linda felt a sense of dizziness coming over her. She couldn't help but said, tilted her body and leaned against Li Hao. Li Hao directly hugged Linda's slender waist and stabilized Linda's figure. Linda leaned directly on Li Hao's body, and suddenly there was another amazing touch. Just like that, the two of them walked out of the bar. It wasn't until the two of them walked out of the Dynasty bar for a long time. Chen Henan stood up on the ground. Chen Wei next to him saw the scene and struggled to stand up. However, his leg was injured by Li Hao and his bones were broken, but he could not stand up. Dad, why is this happening? Who is he? At this time, Chen Wei asked Chen Henan again, with a look of unwillingness. Chen Henan stared directly at Chen Wei again. He. The newly promoted Grandmaster, the number 1 in Dehua. It was the Zhao celestial god of the Beijing Zhao family, Zhao Leiadu, who was defeated by him. Chen Henan immediately said slowly, feeling that it was necessary to popularize this world-shaking information to his son. As soon as Chen Henan's words came out of his mouth, everyone around him was completely shocked. What? Oh my god! The new Grandmaster? The number 1 person in Dehua. Even Grandmaster Zhao of Beijing was defeated by him. At this moment, shocking sounds suddenly came from the mouths of these people, and turmoil arose in their hearts. It was that Chen Wei. When he heard his father's words, his whole head was buzzing. The number 1 person in Dehua. The newly promoted master. Chen Wei murmured, already filled with fear. How dare he let the number 1 person in Dehua kneel down for him? This is really no different than seeking death. At this moment, he was extremely lucky to be able to save his life. In the eyes of the other party, he was probably just like an ant. But at this moment, Chen Henan was heard speaking slowly again. He is also my young master, I am just the young master's slave. Everything must be obeyed by the young master's orders. The young master is the god of the Chen family. How dare you mess with the young master? It seems that I really have some feelings for you. He has neglected his discipline. Chen Henan's voice fell into Chen Wei's ears, and Chen Wei was shocked beyond measure. Chen Henan naturally saw the groaning figures lying on the ground around him. They were also members of his Chen family, and at this moment, he felt even more angry in his heart. Dad, my legs. At this time, Chen Wei said to Chen Henan again. Fight back. Kneel down for me. You are not allowed to get up without my permission. You should reflect on it for me. However, Chen Henan said directly angrily. Ah! Dad, it's all him. This guy is the one who caused this. I was all harmed by him. Hearing Chen Henan's words, Chen Wei suddenly screamed again, and then pointed at Ye Feng not far away and said. If it wasn't for helping that Ye Feng, how could he have offended Li Hao? It's all you. Ye Feng. You really killed me. Chen Wei said angrily to Ye Feng, feeling that the reason why he provoked this Li Hao was all because of this Ye Feng, and this was also the case. When Ye Feng heard Chen Wei's words, his expression changed again. He wanted to say something but didn't dare. He couldn't afford to offend him. You all should kneel together too. No one is allowed to get up without me. Otherwise, I don't mind letting you disappear. Chen Hanan's expression suddenly hardened again, then he looked at Yefeng and others coldly, and said directly. The powerful cultivation aura instantly descended on Yefeng and others, and they suddenly felt extremely horrified. Immediately afterwards, bang 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 bang. A series of dull sounds suddenly sounded, and Yefeng, Yetian, and others knelt down directly. But Chen Hanan ignored these guys and walked away, disappearing here in an instant. Only Chen Wei, Yefeng, and others were left, kneeling straight on the ground. Li Hao ignored what happened next. At this moment, Li Hao was helping Linda to get into his car. The next moment, Lamborghini Poison made a roaring sound and sped out. Linda was sitting in the passenger seat, but her beautiful eyes were staring straight at Li Hao's face. What's wrong? Li Hao couldn't help but ask Linda. Boss, you are so handsome. But at this time, Linda said directly again, her beautiful eyes unabashedly admiring Li Hao. Ha ha. You didn't just know that. When Li Hao heard Linda's words, he laughed again and said lightly. Immediately, Li Hao asked Linda again. Linda, where do you want to go? Boss, you can take me wherever you want. Linda's eyes were as charming as silk, and she said to Li Hao again, with a shy look, and a hint of brightness in her voice. Her slightly drunk look looked bright and moving. Li Hao couldn't help but feel moved when he saw Linda's appearance and heard Linda's words. Seductive. Li Hao's body couldn't help but feel hot again. Linda looked at Li Hao with a touch of heat in her eyes, and Li Hao naturally looked at Linda. He could feel Linda's thoughts, but Li Hao was timid. Then let's take you to have some fresh air. Li Hao said calmly to Linda. I want to take you to blow the wind, the wind will take away everything, short-term relaxation. Okay. Linda said in response, but there was a hint of disappointment in her heart. She hoped that Li Hao would be more proactive and direct. Even if Li Hao said that he wanted to take her to the hotel at this moment, she would not refuse. Promising someone with your body is not just a matter of words. Linda felt slightly disappointed, but there was still a smile on her pretty face. Just like that, the Lamborghini Poison was speeding down the road at night, with the windows open on both sides and the howling wind blowing from both sides. Soon, Li Hao drove his car to the riverside and stopped. The two got out of the car. In front of them was a bustling river scene. On the other side, tall buildings stood tall. The lights were still so bright at night. The night view was really beautiful. Wow, so beautiful. Seeing the night view in front of her, the bustling night view, Linda couldn't help but admire it. The river breeze blew on her face, which was very cool and made Linda sober up a bit. The next moment, Linda sat directly on the Lamborghini's body. Li Hao smiled faintly, but did not speak. He just looked at the scene in front of him quietly. After a while, I love it here so much. Linda next to her said slowly. For some reason, Li Hao felt something strange in Linda's voice. If you like it, live here. Li Hao suddenly said again. But Li Hao's words caused a slight change to appear on Linda's face. She wants it too. But no. Moreover, she will be leaving soon. The next moment, Linda turned her head again and looked at Li Hao. Boss, if I leave, will you miss me? Linda suddenly said to Li Hao, but her pretty face looked very serious. Li Hao frowned slightly when he heard Linda's words. Go? Where to go? Do you want to go? Li Hao couldn't help but ask Linda. Oh, boss, I said what if? If I leave, will you tell me if you will miss me? When Linda heard Li Hao's question, her eyes suddenly dodged, and she said to Li Hao again, looking like she wanted to know the answer. At this moment, Li Hao's brows wrinkled again. Linda seems a little different today, a little melancholy. From when Linda went out drinking alone to what she said now. Meeting. Li Hao suddenly said with certainty, with a firm look on his face. Although it was only one word, when Linda heard it, a bright and beautiful smile appeared on her face again. Boss, you have to keep your word. Linda said to Li Hao again. After that, Linda looked at Li Hao's face and couldn't help but kiss him on the face. Beiji. Linda kissed Li Hao on the face directly and stopped immediately. Li Hao was suddenly stunned. He was kissed by Linda. Li Hao touched the face that had been kissed and looked at Linda again. Linda's pretty face was blushing. Her perfect figure was still so dazzling in the night. Looking at her beautiful red lips, Li Hao was directly impulsive again. Okay. You dare to kiss me? No, I have to kiss you back. Li Hao looked at Linda and said with a sly smile. The next moment, Li Hao went forward and pressed Linda's body against the car body, and then kissed her without any hesitation. Linda's eyes widened. She didn't expect Li Hao to be so direct. She instinctively wanted to break free, but she symbolically hammered Li Hao's chest with her hand, and then her head was dizzy and her body was weak. As a foreigner, Linda was naturally very open. She was kissed by Li Hao, and she naturally did not let Li Hao manipulate her, but turned passive into active. Since she had already fallen in love with the other party, Linda no longer had the slightest resistance and did everything according to her heart. What's more, after today, she had to leave. Before leaving, Linda didn't want to leave any regrets. Linda's family had sent a message to call her back. Something big happened in her family. If she didn't go back, her family would probably suffer a serious crisis. Linda had to go back. But before leaving, Linda still had some things she wanted to do. And at this moment, Linda was also doing what she wanted in her heart. The Lamborghini Venom was activated again and sped away, but the place she went to was the Shangri-La Hotel. The presidential suite on the top floor has always been reserved for Li Hao, and it is also for Li Hao's exclusive use. Fortunately, Li Hao is a cultivator, his body has long been transformed, his blood is strong, and his energy is vigorous. Li Hao also has a very good impression of Linda, and he has no resistance at all. When Linda fell asleep, it was almost early in the morning, but Li Hao was full of energy. It was not until noon that Linda woke up again, but after waking up, Linda felt weak all over her body, and some parts were very painful. Although it was painful, she was happy in pain. When Linda woke up, she did not see Li Hao's figure. It's almost time for me to leave. Linda murmured, but a touch of satisfaction appeared on her face. People in her family had urged her many times, but she had been dragging it until today. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 412. That afternoon, Linda boarded a plane to the United Kingdom. Her family had asked her to go back a few days ago, but she had been delaying for several days. Today, she had to go back. She couldn't delay any longer. Today was the ultimatum given to her by her family. If she didn't go back, her family would face a huge crisis, or even destruction, and her mother and even her sister would be punished and imprisoned because of her. So, Linda boarded a plane and went directly back to the United Kingdom. Linda knew what she would face after she went back, and it might even be a storm, but Linda was determined to go back, and even looked as usual, as if the wind and the sea were calm, and a hint of satisfaction appeared on her face. After this departure, I may never come to Jiangbei again. Sitting on the plane that had just taken off, Linda looked at the land of Jiangbei through the window, and couldn't help thinking in her heart. Linda knew that after she went back this time, even if her parents allowed it, Some nobles would definitely not allow her to leave the country again, so she might not be able to come back to Jiangbei. At this moment, Linda was leaving, and she couldn't help feeling a little melancholy. However, she had no regrets. Because she had done what she wanted to do, and she had given her body to the person she loved completely. After all, she was willful for a while and was not bound by the family. Linda felt that coming to Jiangbei was the most correct thing she had done, and meeting Li Hao, her boss, was also her luckiest thing. "Boss, I'm leaving. Remember your words, you promised to come to me. Don't break your promise. I will wait for you in a wedding dress. Love you, Linda." This was the last message Linda sent to Li Hao. After sending it, the phone number could no longer be used. Li Hao and Li Hao were playing with the cat in the villa. Next to Li Hao, the white cat was really like a well-behaved kitten, lying next to Li Hao. Li Hao didn't have anything to do now, except for school. Li Hao almost forgot that he was a college student. "Come on, open your mouth," Li Hao said to the white cat again. The white cat immediately opened its mouth obediently. The next moment, a pill was shot directly from Li Hao's hand into the white cat's mouth. In an instant, a powerful medicinal spiritual power spread out from the white cat's body, strengthening the white cat's body. In just a moment, a powerful aura burst out from the white cat's body. The aura of the white cat also began to rise at this moment, and unlike usual, the white cat's bones actually began to crack at this moment. Boom! A powerful aura burst out from the white cat's body. Li Hao felt the breath of the white cat, and a hint of surprise suddenly appeared in his eyes. Li Hao could clearly feel that a strong spiritual power was gathering in the white cat, which made the white cat's body seem to have reached a limit, so that the white cat's body seemed to be undergoing transformation uncontrollably. "Is it going to be promoted?" Li Hao looked at the white cat and murmured with his mouth open. This white cat was originally a very ordinary snow leopard, but after the first rescue, it opened its spiritual wisdom, and then it could even absorb spiritual power to start practicing. After that, the white cat consumed a lot of Li Hao's spiritual stones for cultivation, but Li Hao didn't care. After that, the white cat ate a lot of pills. In addition to the pills he refined, there were also pills from the secret realm, so that the white cat continued to become stronger and broke through, from an ordinary monster to a big monster, and now it was about to be promoted to the Monster King. At this time, two more beautiful figures appeared not far away. They were Chu King Ai and Ye Hongziu. "This little guy is quite lucky." The two looked at the white cat, and naturally they could see what was happening to the white cat at the moment, and Ye Hongziu couldn't help but say lightly. Boom! The powerful spiritual power condensed on the white cat's body, and even rushed straight into the sky, causing the wind and clouds. A super strong momentum instantly spread in all directions, and the momentum was also very huge. Li Hao looked at the scene and seemed a little surprised. "Is this guy making such a big noise?" The next moment, Li Hao directly activated the power of cultivation, and then waved his hand, and spiritual power immediately fell on all sides of the villa. Buzz buzz buzz. In just a moment, there was a powerful formation that covered the entire sky, covering the momentum that burst out from the white cat, so as not to cause some unnecessary noise. Roar! At this time, the spiritual light on the white cat kept flowing, and suddenly another loud roar came out. The white cat seemed to be in pain in its cry, but its eyes were extremely firm. The white cat's body suddenly became huge, and its bones made a crisp sound, as if they were broken and reassembled. After more than 10 minutes, the violent aura of the white cat finally calmed down. At this moment, the white cat's hair began to fall off. In just a few breaths, the hair on the white cat's body had fallen off, and it became a bald cat. However, soon, the white cat's body began to grow as white as snow at a speed visible to the naked eye. The hair was crystal clear and shone with spiritual light. The white cat looks different, and seems to be more spiritual. Is this promotion? Li Hao's eyes widened when he saw the scene in front of him. This monster advances very quickly. And at this moment, Li Hao could see that the white cat had become even more extraordinary, and might even be comparable to a strong person in the middle stage of the Dan formation realm. Damn it, he really is a monster, this breakthrough is really fast. The next moment, the white cat's body shrank instantly again, becoming as mini as before, like a cute kitten. Come, let me give your master a hug. Li Hao said to the white cat, wanting to touch the white cat's hair. However, the white cat glanced at Li Hao indifferently, and then looked at the two women Ye Hongxiu and Chu Qing'ai behind him. Then the white cat walked directly towards the two women, and then jumped lightly into Ye Hongxiu's arms. Hey, this cat doesn't like you at all. Chu Qing'ai looked at the scene and said lightly from the side. Li Hao. Eat the inside out? Don't even think about taking my pills in the future. Li Hao was extremely speechless, stared at the white cat and said again. However, after hearing Li Hao's words, Ye Hongxiu said calmly. Those elixirs are from my cave. The implication behind her words was that those pills belonged to her, Ye Hongxiu. Well, you won't be able to use these pills. So, I'll save them for you. Li Hao was stunned and said weakly. The other party is a real Earth immortal strongman. If he fights, he will definitely not be able to defeat him. And these pills are really obtained from the other party's secret realm, so Li Hao has nothing to say. People have to bow their heads under the eaves. Everything from the heart. White Cat's advancement. This is a small episode. But at this moment, another text message came on Li Hao's cell phone. A text from Linda? In the morning, Li Hao left while Linda was sleeping. Linda was tired from staying up all night. Li Hao also wanted her to have a good rest, and also ordered the hotel staff to prepare a rich breakfast for Linda. At this moment, seeing the text message from Linda, Li Hao couldn't help but wonder, did he just wake up? However, when Li Hao clicked on Linda's text message, he was stunned again. Boss, I'm leaving. Remember your words, you promised to come to me. Don't talk without counting. I will be waiting for you in my wedding dress. Love you, Linda. Looking at the content of this text message, Li Hao's expression suddenly froze. Linda is gone? Where have you gone? There is no doubt that Linda has gone back to her country, and Li Hao naturally knows that Linda is from Baidian. But why did Linda leave? Li Hao was a little confused again. Isn't everything fine? No sign. No, not without warning. Li Hao suddenly remembered the scenes that happened yesterday, and Li Hao's heart suddenly condensed. No wonder Linda drank alone yesterday. No wonder Linda asked herself yesterday if she would miss her if she left. No wonder, Linda's mood was obviously a little strange yesterday. Everything is as clear as seeing fog through clouds. Something must be wrong with Linda. Li Hao looked at this text message and had some guesses in his mind. If Linda wants to find her by herself, will she be waiting for him in a wedding dress? Are you ready to marry yourself? Let yourself marry her? This is too direct. However, since he had just slept with her all night, it was only right to go find Linda. However, Li Hao always felt that things were not that simple. The next moment, Li Hao took out his mobile phone and called another number. This number is the chairman's line within Shan Shui Group, and it is a number reserved for Li Hao alone. At this moment, Li Hao dialed this multinational number. Far away in the beautiful country, at the headquarters of Shan Shui Group. Director's office. A phone call came in. A middle-aged woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, who looked to be in her 30s or 40s, was the person in charge of the board of directors' office. When she heard the phone ringing, her expression froze. Their phone number is an internal dedicated line. Basically no one calls in on weekdays. Except for the shareholders and directors of Shan Shui Group, others are not qualified to call in. The next moment, the woman directly answered the phone. Hi, hello, I am Mia, the director of Shanshui Group. The woman spoke beautiful Mandarin, and her voice was very nice. I'm Li Hao. Li Hao directly announced his name, not speaking beautiful Mandarin, but speaking Chinese. Chairman Li. Hello. May I have any orders? The Mia opposite could not help but be shocked when she heard that it was in Chinese. Naturally, she could understand Chinese. As the person in charge of the board of directors of Shanshui Group, she was also proficient in several languages. This Chinese was her specialty. However, when she heard that the person on the phone was actually Li Hao, the largest shareholder and chairman of Shanshui Group whom she had never met before, Mia couldn't hold back the excitement in her heart. I want to know about Linda, the assistant you sent me before. Li Hao immediately said directly. Since Linda was sent by the group headquarters to be his assistant, the headquarters should have some information about Linda. Okay, Mr. Li. Please wait a moment, I will send Miss Linda's information to your mobile phone later. However, the information I found here is incomplete. Miss Linda is the person arranged by the general manager. In the phone, Mia said to Li Hao again. Then, Li Hao hung up the phone. After a while, Li Hao received some more information on his mobile phone. And these information are really about Linda. Linda, female, 25 years old, British, height 178 centimeters, chest circumference 35d, waist circumference. Graduated from the finance department of Victoria's Secret University. This information is basically some basic information, and there is no point. Li Hao wants to know something more in depth. Just when Li Hao frowned, another call came in, which was also a cross-border dedicated line. Li Hao picked it up without hesitation. Hello. Li Hao said directly. Hello, Mr. Li. I'm Ike from Shanshui Group. The voice on the phone was a deep man's voice. I couldn't tell the specific age of the other party, but he was definitely not very young. However, he spoke beautiful Mandarin, and obviously he didn't speak Chinese. Ike, Li Hao knew, was the general manager of Shanshui Group. Linda had shown him the management system of Shanshui Group before. Hello. Li Hao said directly, speaking beautiful Mandarin. The other party must have called him to talk about Linda. As for beautiful Mandarin, it was also in Li Hao's language library. For Li Hao, who was proficient in 18 languages, it was a piece of cake. It was not a problem at all. Mr. Li, your beautiful Mandarin is really fluent. It's like this, I just heard Mia say that you want some information about Miss Linda. Ike was also surprised by Li Hao's fluent and proficient beautiful Mandarin, and immediately praised, and then directly replied to the topic. Yes. That's right. If you know, please let me know. Li Hao said immediately. Mr. Li, I won't hide it from you. Miss Linda's identity is extraordinary. Can you tell me why you are looking for her? Ike said in a deep voice after hearing what Li Hao said, and there was a hint of solemnity in his voice. Assistant Linda left. She left without saying goodbye. As her boss, I naturally have the obligation to know. What is the reason? Li Hao continued. I understand. On the other side of the phone, Ike said immediately after hearing this. Miss Linda's full name is Elizabeth Linda. Mr. Li, you should know the Elizabeth family of Britain, right? Elizabeth Linda? Elizabeth family? The royal family of Britain. Li Hao said in a low voice. That's right, the royal family of Britain. Miss Linda is the little princess of the Elizabeth family, that is, the Princess of Britain. Then, Ike said directly. But when Ike's words fell into Li Hao's ears, Li Hao was shocked again. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 413. Miss Linda is the little princess of the Elizabeth family, that is, the princess of the kingdom of Bahia. When Li Hao heard what Ike said, his expression was shocked again, and his heart was instantly shocked. It turned out that Linda was the princess of the kingdom of Bahia. At this moment, Li Hao couldn't help but think of the foreign professionals he met that time. The vampire named Barton, who came with a witch and a berserker at the time, tried to snatch the secret realm key from Li Hao, but was beaten and fled by Li Hao's powerful cultivation power. But Li Hao clearly remembered that the other party recognized Linda at that time, and called Linda as if he was calling her Princess Linda. It turned out that Linda was really a princess. It turned out that Linda's full name was Elizabeth Linda. Go on. Anything else? At this time, Li Hao said to Ike on the phone again. Since the other party knew Linda's true identity, he should know more, such as why Linda went back. Mr. Li, Miss Linda, I'm afraid she won't go to China again this time. Ike said in a deep voice, which made Li Hao's face condense again. Li Hao didn't speak, but listened quietly. The next moment, Ike continued to say. As far as I know, Miss Linda went back this time to marry the son of the Duke of York. Huh? Linda went back to get married? What's going on? Li Hao's face changed again when he heard the other party's words. Mr. Li should know about the Duke of York, right? Ike said to Li Hao again. Li Hao had also heard of the Duke of York. He was one of the 4 great dukes of Britain and one of the most powerful people in Britain. As one of the 4 great dukes of Britain, the Duke of York's power can even be said to be the leader of the 4 dukes. In recent years, with the infiltration of the power of the 4 dukes, the dominant position of the Elizabeth family has become precarious. In order to consolidate its dominant position, the Elizabeth family wants to get closer to the York family through marriage. Then, Ike continued to talk and said a lot. Li Hao immediately understood. The general meaning is that Linda has become a victim of family marriage. Linda's fiancé is the son of the Duke of York, named York Walker, and the two have even set a date for their wedding. When is the wedding date? Li Hao couldn't help but condense his heart and asked a topic that he was most concerned about. Linda said that she would wait for him in a wedding dress. At this moment, Li Hao immediately understood that the day Linda said she would wear a wedding dress was the day she was going to get married. However, Linda obviously didn't want to marry the son of the Duke of York, otherwise, she wouldn't have given her body to herself. And the day of the wedding was the agreement between Linda and herself, and Linda wanted to go by herself. Li Hao understood everything. If he thought about it this way, would he be considered cheating on the son of the Duke of York? Thinking of this, Li Hao's eyes burst out with a fierce meaning. Linda was already his woman, and no matter who it was, she could not be snatched away. What about the Elizabeth family? What about the Duke of York? As a strong man in the transformation realm, Li Hao already had such confidence and even more confidence. Mr. Li, Miss Linda, and York Walker will get married in a month, and it will be held in the Kingdom Castle of Britain. At this time, Ike said to Li Hao again. A month later. Li Hao murmured, and he had already made up his mind. At that time, he would definitely be there, and he would appear on the colorful clouds. Li Hao knew the reason why Linda left, and he was relieved at this moment. Li Hao went back, but not in front of him. In the next few days, Li Hao was free. He went to class every day, hung out with his good friends Chen Tao, Wu Chao, and others in the school dormitory during the day, and returned to the villa to cook at night, and slept with several beauties. Well, everyone went back to their own rooms. The next day, a beautiful figure in white appeared outside the villa again. Sister, you are finally here. Seeing this figure at the door of the villa, Chu King Ai was immediately overjoyed. The woman in front of her was her sister Mo Bai. Mo Bai was still wearing a white dress, with an aura of not eating worldly fireworks, like the 9 heavens mysterious woman coming down to earth. Bai, have you explained all the matters of the sect? Ye Hongxiu also said to Mo Bai. Yes. Mo Bai nodded and said in a deep voice. This time when she went down the mountain, she had arranged everything in the section after staying in the fairy mountain for many years. Mo Bai was almost forgetting what the world was like now. This time she came down the mountain with determination, in order to fulfill the promise she made. In the past, when she was in the secret realm, she said that as long as Li Hao helped her awaken her master, Ye Hongxiu, she would become Li Hao's maid, and she would be Li Hao's person, and she also swore a heavenly oath. So, this time, Mo Bai came here specifically to fulfill her oath. Senior sister, you're here. You don't know, there are a lot of delicious food and fun things here. Well, the clothes are also very beautiful. Li Hao also bought a lot of clothes for my sister. Let's go to the room. Try it, sister, you will definitely look beautiful in it. At this time, Chu King Ai said to Mo Bai again. After hearing Chu King Ai's words, Mo Bai couldn't help but feel moved in his heart. Li Hao also bought clothes for himself? Is this what Chu King Ai and the others are wearing? Mo Bai couldn't help but cast his eyes on Chu King Ai and Ye Hongxiu again. Chu King Ai was wearing a cyan suspender skirt, which looked gentle, elegant, and refined, while Ye Hongxiu was wearing shorts, with her upper body it's a white t-shirt. In short, the clothes on both of them were very beautiful and full of modern flavor. Mo Bai had never worn them before. The next moment, Chu King Ai took Mo Bai to the room. At this time, Ye Xiun also walked out of the room and immediately cast her beautiful eyes on Mo Bai. Ye Xiun's heart couldn't help but move again, and there was a hint of surprise in her eyes. Another extremely beautiful woman. Ye Xiun's brows furrowed slightly again. Originally, she and Li Hao were the only ones in this villa, and then two more people moved in. Forget it, one person actually came here now, and they moved in right now. They are all stunningly beautiful women. Their appearance and figure are no worse than mine, and their temperament is even better than mine. For a moment, Ye Xiun couldn't help but feel a sense of crisis, and these three women were together. Li Hao, who is this? Ye Xiun suddenly said to Li Hao in a deep voice. Well, she is Mo Bai, we are all friends. Li Hao suddenly said weakly. How can you just let people move in? Don't they even pay rent? Ye Xiun said again, obviously looking a little unhappy. She had paid the rent, but these three women in front of her had not paid a cent of rent. They seemed to be eating and drinking from Li Hao, and even drank from Li Hao. Wearing Li Hao's. Well, their rent is considered paid. At worst, I won't charge you rent in the future. Li Hao said slowly again that the things obtained from the other party's secret realm, such as elixirs and spiritual herbs, were not things that could be measured by money at all. Snort. Ye Xiun snorted again, said nothing more, went back to her room, and closed the door with a bang. Damn Li Hao! Stinky Li Hao! I don't want such a beauty living at home. I have to go outside to find some and bring them home. Ye Xiun just felt that she was really angry. She lived here every day, and Li Hao didn't know how to take the initiative, but instead he was flirting with her outside. In Ye Xiun's opinion, the three women who moved in were the ones Li Hao hooked up with from outside, and they were so pretty. Mo Bai naturally saw Ye Xiun, and there was a strange color in his eyes. Senior sister, you don't need to pay attention. This woman seems to have paid money to move in. She is just a tenant here. Chu King Ai next to him said again. The next moment, the two of them went directly to the room to try on clothes. When Mo Bai once again put on a short skirt that was fashionable for modern girls and came out, Li Hao's eyes immediately fell on Mo Bai and couldn't move away. It's so beautiful. Li Hao took a breath. The Mo Bai in front of him once again amazed Li Hao. Mo Bai, who had changed his clothes, looked completely different, but he was still so beautiful that it took Li Hao's breath away. Very white, very elegant, very noble. It combines all the beautiful adjectives. Sleepy. Li Hao, how are you? Isn't my senior sister beautiful? But at this time, Chu King Ai next to him said to Li Hao again, with a smile on his face. It must be. Li Hao nodded. That's for you. The next moment, Chu King Ai actually pushed Mo Bai out. Oops. Mo Bai screamed and his body was pushed forward. But at this moment, a man's arm hugged him directly, causing Mo Bai's pretty face to blush instantly, and he even forgot that he was a monk. Are you okay? Li Hao hugged Mo Bai, smelled a fresh fragrance, and said softly. I'm fine. Mo Bai's pretty face was extremely red with embarrassment, and her whole head was in a daze. She didn't know where to sit for a moment, her body was stiff, and she felt a little panicked just being hugged by the other person. It's okay. Then rest. Li Hao said again. Huh? Mo Bai was shocked again when he heard Li Hao's words. Rest. Does it just mean sleeping? Is that what it means? Mo Bai suddenly felt that Li Hao had something to say. Good. The next moment, Mo Bai took a deep breath, as if he had made a huge decision. Then he walked directly towards the bed in Li Hao's room. With Li Hao's eyes widening, he walked directly to Li Hao's bed, and then lay down directly. Mo Bai was undoubtedly very panicked at the moment. She lay straight on Li Hao's bed, her perfect body curves clearly revealed in front of Li Hao's eyes, and she even closed her eyes, as if she was letting him take whatever he wanted. When Li Hao saw this scene, he was completely stunned. What the hell? This. Li Hao's eyes widened and he looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. His head was short-circuited and he couldn't turn around for a while. What is going on? Looking at the woman lying on the bed, Li Hao's breathing became a little rapid, and the blood in his heart couldn't help but surge. This is simply a temptation. Who the hell can stand this? Li Hao is no saint. The next moment, the door closed. Li Hao came directly to the bed. When he saw Mo Bai lying on the bed, Li Hao couldn't help but murmured again. This beauty who came to my door? Want it? Waiting online. If he went directly, wouldn't he be a beast? But if he doesn't, wouldn't he be worse than a beast? Is this serious? Li Hao couldn't help but ask Mo Bai on the bed. Come on. Since I have sworn an oath, I will never go back on it. Just don't worry. Mo Bai didn't even open his eyes, but he said in a deep voice, his voice filled with unparalleled determination. Say it and do it. Although she had never experienced it before, this was the first time, and she didn't even know what to do, but she had no hesitation at this moment. In that case, then it's better to be respectful than to obey. Li Hao said slowly again. Since others have said so, if I hesitate again, will I still be a man? As a result, Li Hao directly prepared to go to Wushan with Mo Bai. But right at this moment. Ding 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 ding. Suddenly, Li Hao's cell phone rang loudly at this moment. Who is that? Li Hao couldn't help but said, this call came at the right time. Li Hao picked up the phone and was about to hang up, but he found that the phone number indicated that it was Longsheiming of the Southwest Guards Army. What did Longsheiming of the Southwest Guards want to do with him in the middle of the night? If it wasn't something important, you shouldn't be calling yourself in the middle of the night, right? Hello. So, Li Hao didn't hang up the phone, but directly picked up and said. Grandmaster Li, please come and save the Guardian Envoy. Only you can save the Guardian Envoy. Grandmaster Li, please come and save me. On the phone, Longsheiming spoke directly to Li Hao, his voice filled with extreme anxiety and even begging. But when Li Hao heard what Longsheiming said, he couldn't help but be shocked. Nai Yuntian was injured? And dying? How is this possible? Li Hao just saw him at Mr. Qin's birthday party a few days ago, and he was very nice. Where? Li Hao couldn't help but frown, and asked directly in a deep voice. Li Hao didn't ask what the specific matter was, because as long as he went there, he would know.